That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad question.
Hey,
It's the
Rashad.
Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's crazy because, like, when Euphoria came out, did you know that Kendrick was about to do the very same time the next year, 365 days later, he'd be doing a stadium tour and selling out stadiums? Nobody knew what was coming. Nobody knew the storm that was coming. Back to back to back to back to back records to the point where he's like, oh, stop dropping. Nurse, teacher, principal. Man, Ant-Man ended the Lakers, bro. And it's time to have that conversation, bro. Back-to-back years, Ant-Man has ended KD. He swept KD in the first round. His mentor, his role model, the player that he looked up to, his favorite player growing up as a kid. And then second year he comes and he gentleman sweeps LeBron James. Now, in this particular game, the closeout game, you have to give credit where credit is due. So let's look at the statistics as you pull up the box score right here. Rudy Gobert had an amazing game, bro. 24 rebounds, 27 points, 24 rebounds. A lot of times I think about, and I think the end of the third quarter, the Lakers were going on this run and they took a lead. And Ant, he drove to the lane as time ran down and he went up for a tough layup in traffic, contested layup. He missed it. But right there at the rim was Rudy Gobert to clean it up right before the buzzer. And it was plays like that he just made all single night. He had a couple just poster dunks that were just dominant, old school dunks. And he really turned back the clock, man. Like it looked like old school basketball where the center was dominating. It was something that we were just talking about on Brooklyn's Live, actually, where we were talking about centers. I'm like, the center, there is no back to the basket dominant center anymore. Like that doesn't exist in basketball anymore. Like even the best post up guys with the best post up game, a guy like a Jokic, a guy like a Embiid, and then in the W, someone like a Asia Wilson, someone like a who's else? Aaliyah Boston, someone, you know what I'm saying? Someone like Brittany Griner, they still can face up and shoot. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It's kind of what it is now. Nafisa Collier, everybody like that, like they still can face up and shoot and drive the ball and handle the ball if they need to. Angel Reese, et cetera, et cetera. So I say all of this to say you have to give it up for Rudy Gobert and big ups to Julius Randle as well with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. For doing just closing out his former team, man. The Lakers, the team that gave up on him, the team that traded him, he did it on their floor in the Staples Center, crypto.com arena now. And, you have to give him big ups for that. So 100% salute to him for that. I'm looking at, okay, now let's get into it. Let's get into now that we got actual basketball and statistics out of the way. Let's talk about it. So who was it, man? It was, I'm trying to think. It was Luka. Let's go back to the Luka Knight trade. So the Luka Knight trade is going crazy because we can't believe that Luka got traded. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, this doesn't still really change much. Like LeBron and Luka is not going to, they're like, but you know how crazy this is? I was like, but they're not going to win this year. And they said, it's not about this year. It's about the future. They have someone to replace LeBron as the face of the Lakers for the next 15 seasons after LeBron retires. I said, okay, that makes sense. And I'm like, I still just don't know about Luka in that way. And it's because I don't think people can overlook his finals performance last year. And this is what I said, if you're still in here, this is what we just talked about on Brooklyn stream. But I just don't know, bro. Like you can't just overlook the fact that this dude didn't give any type of effort on defense in the NBA finals. And it's something that he's done his entire career. But to do it on the biggest stage, it was just like the lights. Yeah, shouts out to Chris. Chris still here. But to do that on the biggest, brightest stage, it was just like embarrassing. And I don't think you can just overlook that because it just shows it's too many times where I've seen Luka have those tantrums. He ripped the jersey after he lost. Like he spikes the ball. He untucks the jersey. It's like he's a bad sport. He complains the most. And but it's a lot of things that Trae Young does as well, too. I don't get it twisted. Trae Young does a lot of the same stuff where Trae Young ain't never ripped a jersey, but Trae complained just as much as any other player in the NBA to the refs and stuff like that. Yeah, my brother Brooklyn, before he go to bed, Brooklyn got work in the morning, and it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Over here, it's still 12:17. Not like that's any earlier, but it is a bit earlier, so it's an hour earlier. So good night, bro. I appreciate the love as always. Thank you for the multiple shout outs. I got like 6 subs from that live, by the way, Brooklyn. So salute. But going back to Luka, man, it's like Nico had some points. Now, would I trade him just for the sake of like I say, branding? I think branding and all of that and DNA is important, bro. Like, I think you need a face of something, right? And you need some type of continuity, some familiarity there. So it's like, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Chris, because Chris is from Ohio, y'all have like LeBron. Like, when you think of the Cleveland Cavaliers, you think of LeBron James, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like a few years ago. Shout out to Chicago Cheetah as well. When you think of the Chicago Bulls, you might think of Derrick Rose or Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think of the Lakers, you think of Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron. You might think of LeBron James if you're younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always need a consistent face of the franchise. So it's like, for that point, even all the stuff that I just said about Luka, he don't give effort on defense. He pouts. He's a drama queen. When things don't go his way, he checks out the game mentally. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are the he's a genius offensively. It's magical when he has it going. It's like there's a someone had this like conspiracy that Steph Curry has magnets on his fingertips, and that's why he makes all his 3-pointers, because the magnets from his fingertips transfer over to the rim and stuff. But it's like that with Luka. Sometimes he just can't miss, and he's throwing passes that you're like, how did you even see that? You know what I'm saying? But despite all that offensive genius and being a machine and being the system, at the end of the day, it's like the flaws are still there. And people can't just ignore it because of all the pros and things of that sort. Chris said, emotionally immature. Him and LeBron both be crying about fouls and flopping. It drives me nuts. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn as well. Double time. Yeah, 100%, bro. It's just like, okay, so Luka is doing that. And we looking past it because of all the good stuff. And people want to hype him up to be the NBA's next LeBron and the next face of the league after LeBron retires. And I just don't think it works like that, bro. Like, LeBron, even though he struggled to win, it's like he always gave effort. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this is someone who I have LeBron 7th all time. And you know what I'm saying? Most people, they act like I'm crazy when I have him on my top 5 all time, but you got to call it like you see it with competing. Bron, even though people talk about his heart and he don't have the dog or like, you know what I'm saying, the thing that Jordan and Kobe have, of course, okay, whatever. LeBron still competed. Like, it was a few times where he'd be on the bench, his jersey's untucked, and he'll just walk into the locker room but before the game ends, and it's like, oh, sore loser LeBron. And it's a lot of the same things that you see with Luka now. But it's like, overall, I ain't never seen Bron until he got to the Lakers and he was, in his upper 30s and things of that sort, just like stand on defense and get mad, especially in big games. Like, he always competed on both sides of the floor. Like, he wanted to be great in defense. He's like, okay, Jordan was defensive player of the year. Okay, so-and-so was a defensive player of the year. Chris wanted to know what my top 10 is. I'll get to that right now. Let me see if I could pull it. I'm gonna pull up a Google Doc and I'm gonna do it like that. So I keep track and everything like that. And then we'll get back to this entire legacy discussion and stuff like that. All right, bet. Hold on, where we at? Here we go. Okay, let me pull this up. All right, y'all. So we got the Google Doc up. I'm gonna go with 1, Jordan. 2, I'm gonna go Kareem. 3, I gotta go Wilt. No, I go Russell. I go Russell, the greatest winner of all time. 4, I got Wilt. 5 is always exchange between Kobe and Duncan. Kobe and Duncan. So that's 5 and 6. Those guys are like interchangeable. It's just like however you feel in that day, to be honest, in my opinion. Hold on. Let me see how I do this. Let me do it like that. 5 and 6. All right, 7. So it'd be 7. 7 would be Bron. 8 would be you can go Larry Bird here. Larry Bird. 9, you can go Magic Johnson. 10, you go Shaq. And then 11, I got Oscar Robertson. 12, I got Hakeem. 13, I got Steph. 14, I got KD. And 15, I got Jokic. And that's my all-time list. So, anyways, like I say, okay, get back to it, right? So, okay, when I seen this man, bro, when I seen Bron go, say 2007, right? He still competed. Like, bro still competed, dog. Like, he still competed on both sides of the floor. Like, it was like he wanted to be like Chris Gass, Russell 1, MJ 2. Okay, that's controversial. 3 Kareem, 4 LeBron, 5 Duncan, 6 Magic, 7 Wilt, 8 or it was this 8 Shaq, 9 Bird, and then 10 Kobe. No, I ain't skipped 6. It's Kobe and Duncan tied at 5. So that's 5 and 6. Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Similar top 10, like you say. The only thing I'm looking at is like you got Russell over Jordan. Okay, all right. I hurt your feelings. You don't work with me no more. Okay. Yeah, you good, Brooklyn. Hey, it's late. It's 120 over there. But like I said, like Jordan, he wanted to be defensive player. Like Jordan was defensive player of the year and stuff like that. And Bron was like, when he first got in, he was like, okay, Jordan improved his jump shot. I need to improve my jump shot. Jordan won defensive player of the year. I want to be able to win defensive player of the year. So, that's when the chase down blocks came into play and stuff like that. Like, so I say all this to say the difference between Luka and Bron is like Bron wanted to compete, bro. Like in his prime, Bron wanted to compete to be the greatest. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between Luka and him. So it's just like, will Luka get there? I don't know. He's getting pretty old, you know what I'm saying, and things of that sort. Older. He's still young in the wide range of greatness and everything like that. But it'll be interesting to see. But right as of right now, when the trade happened in February, I was just like, I wasn't really stressing it like everybody else was. And but I think for the sake of brand recognition, it was important to just keep Luka, even if he wasn't perfect. Like, let this be the Luka era for the Dallas Mavericks and ride it till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Miller with the Pacers. Just let it be that, bro. We sung on Brooklyn's Live, Trae Young staying with the Hawks. Like, it'll be Trae Young. When you think of the Atlanta Hawks, you think of Dominique Wilkins, you think of Trae Young. Brand recognition is special, bro. Like when you think of the Golden State Warriors, if you don't think about Baron Davis and the We Believe guys, or if you don't think about Run Team C and stuff like that from the 90s, you're thinking about Steph Curry. or if you're not thinking about Wilt Chamberlain, you're thinking about Steph Curry, bro. So it's like, it just is what it is. Like, brand recognition is important for money and legacy and selling like a story for decades and decades down the line. So that's why I think you don't trade Luka from Dallas. However, when it was, I didn't think it was just such a big, and I think we're seeing it right now. Like, forget the future, forget the 15 years after he retires, right? Forget like, okay, he retired, LeBron retires, Luka's the face of the Lakers for the next 15 years. Forget that, right? What happened tonight, bro? Like, you had a chance tonight to make a run. You're only going to have 1 or 2 maybe 3 seasons max with LeBron James, right? So that'll be 2.5 seasons with LeBron with you with the Lakers. This is an opportunity. We're seeing 2 of the all-time greats on the same team at the same time, bro. So why not capitalize on that moment where it's like, this is your last 1 of 3 chances you're going to have making a playoff run with this guy. Why not get it done now instead of, if you got the 15 years, nah, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. Chris said Bob Pettit won an MVP for the Hawks, but most of these young bucks don't know his name. Shout out to Bob Pettit, man, for sure. But Bob Pettit, that was St. Louis too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, you could think of Bob Pettit when you think of the Hawks and things of that sort. Like Bob Pettit and the Hawks, like they ended they interrupted Celtics winning like 12 in a row. Instead of 12 in a row, they just won 11 of 12. And it's because of Bob Pettit. So salute to Bob Pettit 100%. And things of that sort. I think Bob Pettit from New Orleans too. Yeah, he might be from New Orleans, Louisiana. So salute to Bob Pettit. Shout out Pistol Pete. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's people that like just identify errors, and like that's important with branding and business. So that's why you don't trade Luka. But with this thing, does LeBron retire? I don't think LeBron retires because I think he just loves the spotlight too much, bro. Like, remember when Skip Bayless got on LeBron for going to Bronny's game when he was like in the 8th grade at AU, and like they were doing the layup line, and Buddy like started tomahawking and doing the signature dunk in the layup lines of the 8th graders. They go, ooh, and they're all recording him stuff. And then, like in the Olympics in Paris, like they put like somebody else on the big board, or like an Olympian walked in from another sport that's an Olympic sport, and a whole arena cheered for him. And then LeBron looked up and he was on the screen. So he was like, and he thought they was talking about him. They was cheering for him. When you've been the guy since you were 13 years old, and Bron is 40 now. So it's been for the past, 27 years? The past 27 years of your 40-year-old life, you've been the center of attention in every single room you walked in. That's a difficult transition to just phase out and just be like, okay, time to be normal. Like, that's just weird. Like, so I don't blame Bron for that. Like, it's not like I'm gonna call him, you narcissist. No, like that's all he knows, bro. Like, I'm not gonna blame him for that. So I think it's gonna be very difficult for him to just let go of the game from that aspect of the celebrity that comes with it. Because of course, yeah, you can do the pod, the Think in the Game podcast, and you can be LeBron James, like the icon that you'll continue to be. And the legend grows with time, legend always grows with time. So you look at Jordan, like Jordan is still as famous as he was with the Bulls. But Jordan ain't always, just in the paparazzi, in the press. Like, you can go months without knowing what Michael Jordan is doing if it's not NASCAR season and he's with his NASCAR team on the track. Like, it was a big deal when Jordan was in the club bobbing his head to Not Like Us, because like he just don't be seen. Like, Michael Jordan be disappearing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what every player. I remember with Kobe, right? Like right before Kobe, the week leading up to his tragic passing, Bron was closing in on Kobe, and he was going to do it in Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown. So people were talking about Kobe more and more. And it was like, before then, people weren't talking about Kobe. They were talking about whatever was going on in the NBA at the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe just wasn't at the forefront of people's minds. So when you retire, you're no longer on the forefront of people's minds as much as you were. Yes, you'll always be famous. He'll always be LeBron James, but it just won't hit the same. It won't have the same type of impact. And I don't think he's ready to lose that. I think that's just a kind of a psych thing. You know what I'm saying? A mind thing of like, when is he ever going to accept that and kind of move on? So I don't think he'll retire this year, this summer. And then also, is LeBron going to go out without a farewell tour? Kobe got a farewell tour. D-Wade got a last dance. Vince Carter got a last dance, but Paul Pierce tried to get one, and he only got that type of respect in Boston, which Draymond famously made the trash talk for it and stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't think he retires this year. That's where I stand with the Lakers. Do I think they just fleeced Dallas? On one end, kind of yes, because Luka is younger than AD. But like, if AD just is a better fit with Kyrie and they're both healthy at the same time, which is kind of crazy to like assume is going to happen because both of those guys have been kind of injury prone most of their careers, but they have been healthy for championship runs both times in both different instances. So it's possible. So if that, if the Dallas team is just a better fit for right now and they end up winning the championship, and then the Lakers just end up being a team that always run into the wall, you know what I'm saying? First round, second round, Western Conference Finals, then, we'll see it because Ant-Man ain't going nowhere. Ant-Man is going nowhere, bro. So you're going to have to deal with Ant-Man and you're going to have to deal with OKC. Now, OKC, what does OKC look like in 5 years? Because they got to pay all these boys. All these boys is 23 and younger, and they're like some of the best players in the league. But when you got to pay them, are they going to take a pay cut? Are they going to be all, are they going to do that then? When it's time to take a pay cut to keep the team? No. So it's like, what does a dispersed version of the OKC Thunder look like in a couple of years? I don't know. But they might still be there. So it's like, they still going to be there. Jokic is only 30. Jokic still going to be there in the West. Ant-Man still going to be. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like Luka just going to be able to run the Western Conference and this is my conference now. No, buddy. All right. Brooklyn asked a question.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one
can't
quick question?
ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.